Hi everybody, today I'm going to show you how I plant a fruit tree. As you can see, I have planted fruit trees before. I have an olive, banana, mango, peach, and 2 pears. So I have some experience. And today I'll be planting a Chicago hardy fig. I picked it up from a nursery about 2 days ago, and it already has some fruits, like right there. So today I'm going to be planting it in ground. Firstly, I'm going to take a measuring tape and measure out exactly where I want the fruit tree to go. All of these trees are 14 of these bars going over. So I'm going to count 14 of these bars, which is 62 inches, and I'm going to go 62 inches out. So I'm going to make a square, and I'm going to mark that with a stick sticking out so I know exactly where to dig. Right here, I have the measuring tape put down, and I'm going to find where it says 62, which is right here, and I'm going to take this post thing and I'm going to stick it right where I want it, which is right there. Now that I have the stake exactly where I want it to be, I'm going to take my shovel and I'm going to dig around it. I'm going to make the hole double the size of the pot. After I have dug the hole, as you can see, it is somewhat circular, which this is not good because the tree's roots will just start circling in the hole. What I can do to fix that is take a square shovel like this, and I'm going to make it have corners, which is going to stop the roots from going in a circle and force them to go out. Now that I have made the hole more of a square, I'm going to take some of these bags of compost and manure and sand, and I'm going to put them at the bottom of the hole. Firstly, I'm going to put some play sand at the bottom of the hole. The reason being is because fig trees especially, but most all fruit trees, do not like to have sitting water. This sand will help to make all the water drain out so that it does not retain all of the water, which can rot the roots, because that can cause root rot. Now that I have put some compost, sand, and cow manure in this hole, I'm going to take the fig tree out of the pot and plant it. Now that I've taken the fig tree out of the pot, as you can see, it's root bound right here, which means that the roots are circling it. What I need to do is try to break up some of these bottom roots like this. You don't want to do it too much so you don't cause the plant too much stress, but just do it a little so that it can help the roots to go out. The reason you don't want the roots circling is because they can later go around the tree, and when the trunk gets bigger, it can cut off the tree. It will circle around and it will strangle the tree, which can sometimes result in the death of a fruit tree. So what you want to do is just break some of these roots apart, do it all around it, and try to be gentle. Now that the tree is in the hole and the roots are broken up, I'm going to start filling it up with some compost and cow manure. Now that I have filled in the hole that the tree was in, I'm going to start putting some fertilizer. I'm putting an NPK ratio that is quite similar. It's almost a 5-5-5, but since this is starting to get fruit up here, I've mixed in some potash, which is filled with a lot of potassium, which will help with ripening the fruit. So you want to dig down a little bit to where the roots are and just start sprinkling it in there. This will not be readily available to the tree, as bugs and worms will have to break it down so that it can be readily available for the tree. Now that I've fertilized the fruit tree, it is time to start adding mulch. I'm going to start adding mulch, and you don't want to put the mulch right up against the trunk of the tree. This can rot the trunk and it can cause severe damage and a lot of major issues. It is best to make a volcano. You want to make it all sloping in. Now now that I have mulched around the fruit tree, I have made it to be sort of a volcano, making sure that none of the mulch is touching the trunk. It is time to now water the fruit tree. This is very important as it will get rid of all of the air pockets. Now I'm going to be watering the fruit tree. This is important because it will remove all of the air pockets that are there, and especially when you plant a tree, it can become stressed. So when you're watering it, it helps to relieve some of that stress. Lastly, if you have dogs like I do, I would highly recommend taking a tomato trellis, cutting it down one side, and putting it around the fruit tree. This will act like a barrier, deterring your dogs away. While it will not protect your fruit tree, it should discourage your dogs from chewing at the trunk. And it has worked for all of my trees, so I would recommend. And as you can see, it is the next day, and the fruit tree has not taken on any stress. It is seeming to do really great. Some quick care tips for a newly planted fruit tree would be to try to water about every 4 days, and make sure that that you're watering very heavily and that the water seeps down. If you can, just take the water hose and set it by the trunk of the tree and put it on very low to where it's just dripping if you do not have drip irrigation. That's what I do. And try fertilizing about every 3 months. Since this is a newly planted tree, you want it to get established. And also, it will help with the ripening of fruits if it is a fig. Well, any fruit tree will help with the ripening of fruits, but just figs in particular need a lot of fertilizer to ripen their fruits. Thank you everybody for watching this video. I hope that you learned something new. And if you would like to see some of the items that I use in my garden, the links are in the description. Have a great rest of your day.